Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to episode 2 of Family Boot... What is this thing called? I'm gonna get it right. Marriage Boot Camp, Reality Stars, Family Edition. Jesus! Welcome to another episode of my review / recap of Marriage Boot Camp, Reality Stars, Family Edition. Episode 2, Snake in the Grass. So in honor of Mama Jones, we are coming in with a turban. We are giving you Eartha Kitt Isma Krank. We are giving you a fan because it is hot underneath these lights, child. Yes, we are going in. So where we left off last episode is we had Amber, who is OG teen mom, very upset about her bedroom, very upset about the booze and the pills that were all over the room, very upset to be staying in a room that looks like a child's room because she felt like it was triggering her. It made her want to do drugs. So she stomped and said she was leaving and this process wasn't for her and she doesn't appreciate it because she is a grown woman, okay? Dr. V comes in and starts talking to her and explains to her why they did this, why they triggered her, and that is part of the healing, it's part of the help that she needs to get. So she ends up staying, which, you know, we knew she would because she's trying to make that point. They go to sleep and they wake up the next morning at 10:30 and they have to start doing their boot camp things, all right? So they get outside and they go into this room called the Zen room, this booth that they have outside, which is supposed to be soundproof. Each family goes onto this platform and they go into the booth, the Zen booth, which is outside on the lawn, and they say things in the Zen booth that they have always wanted to say to their family members. They just don't say because it would be too hurtful or it would cause an issue. So they all go in there and say the things that they have to say. Brandy says that she doesn't understand where her father's hate comes from her because she felt like he was a pot dealer, so he wasn't the saint that she claims to be. And he goes in there and says that he read somewhere in a tabloid that she was an escort. And so he's really ashamed of her for that. Jim Jones and his mother don't say anything when they're in there. It's like they're just really closed off to the whole entire situation. But Chrissy goes in there and talks about feeling that she's gotten no support and no acknowledgement for what she's done for Jim and how she has helped the family grow and move forward. And it's been a really, really hard thing for her. So then we have the Grassalucci sisters. That's not their name. Jen says that she doesn't have anything to say about Lana, but she has something to say about Renee. So she tells Renee that she feels again that she's being a baby and that she's had to pick up the slack for a lot of different things and she doesn't appreciate it. And then Renee goes in there and just basically talks about how her family didn't support her through her addiction and they don't understand addiction and it breaks her heart. And also she says that she's mad at Lana for lying and saying that she was mentally unstable when it came time to some court situation with the kids and whatnot. And it's just like all this stuff, like all this pent up stuff. And Renee is very upset about being called mental unstable. She's like, you can call me an addict, but you won't be calling me mentally unstable, which I'm just like, I kind of think that goes hand in hand, but you know. So they all go in there and just say the things that they need to say to each other. That's that one exercise. They go into the house and they're sitting around in the kitchen and Chrissy and Amber have a conversation and Amber really does apologize and Chrissy says, I accept your apology, but I will be watching you because you popping off like that was really, really, you know, crazy. Dr. V is wearing some crazy outfit when they're outside on that lawn. She is wearing like an orange shirt, some like Adidas flare pants or like capri weird black track pants with white stripes down the side and some thick platform shoes. I'm like, Mom, you are showing your age, okay? That outfit is ridiculous, but her face is beat, you know what I'm saying? I just really think that I just really want Chrissy to get the help that she deserves because I think she does deserve the help because she is putting in the work, you know? So I'm wishing that upon her and I want everybody to get better. I mean, each group have to like sit out on the lawn and wait while the other group is in the room talking. So it gives them opportunities to talk, I guess, amongst themselves. And so Chrissy and Mama Jones are talking and Chrissy's trying to explain to Mama Jones like how she feels. Mama Jones just won't let her. She won't let her express herself. She keeps on interrupting and Jim is just off to the side, like not involving himself. And I'm just like, why is he in so much denial? It's crazy that he's able to look at everyone else's situations and make assessments that are pretty spot on, but not able to look within and figure his situation out. Also, another problem is Amber and Matt. Matt is 46 years old and Amber is 27 years old. Like, he's got 20 years on her. Later on that evening, they're outside having a conversation and it turns out that he's put his hands on her And I'm not sure what's going on. He tried to say he didn't. And then at the very, very tail end of the episode, he said, I'm not going to say I never put my hands on her. I'm saying I didn't abuse her. Which I'm just like, tomato, tomato a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's really interesting to me because, again, I still think Amber's mother is on drugs currently. Or something, because she's slurring all the time. I don't think that that relationship is healthy at all. And I'm not sure how, like, they're even together or why they're together, and everyone in the house thinks that they should break up, and it's just so volatile. She starts to yell and scream at him and say, you never hit me, and he's like, you're the one that went to jail for battery, so how dare you try to come at me with your nonsense. And it's just like too much. You know what I'm saying? When like people are just yelling and it's just too much. Speaking of too much yelling, the Graciela sisters, that's not their name, the Graciela sisters get into an argument because Lana, I guess this is a situation what happened. Lana and her lawyer, I'm not sure if they were trying to get custody or they were trying to convince the judge of something, but there was a situation a couple of years ago where Lana and her lawyer decided that in order for the outcome to be positive on Lana's end, they needed to throw Renee under the bus by calling her mentally unstable. Jen wasn't around, she was in college, and the parents were kind of jacked up, so they weren't able to take the kids. I'm not sure what that means. And they said that Renee was mentally unstable. And Renee feels like she got thrown under the bus in the eyes of the law by her sister Lana. So she is yelling at Lana all the way up the stairs, like just yelling. And Lana's like, no, I can't hear you. I don't want to deal with you. Leave me alone. And then Dr. V steps in and is like, Lana, can I talk to you for a second? And then Renee's right on the other side of the door just yelling. And it's just so much to the point where Dr. V is like, look, Renee, what you are doing, your tactic right now is not getting you what you want. So stop. Renee walks away. She has a conversation with Lana. She's like, how are you feeling? And Lana's like, Lana admitted, like, I did what I had to do at the time and I was wrong for it, but she doesn't understand boundaries. Like, she just won't stop. I don't understand why she thinks that her just consistently and constantly yelling at me is going to get her some kind of result. And what that result is, we don't know. The second part of the episode is they have a exercise where now that they've said all they had to say in the Zen room, the families are isolated and put in a room and then brought to another room. And they are shackled to the ground. And in the middle is a plexiglass box filled with snakes. And the doctors threaten and say that if one of you in 10 seconds doesn't say something or admit to something that you guys said in the Zen room, then we are going to let the snakes loose on you. So this is an exercise about starting the conversation of admitting and saying the things that you've been afraid to say to each other. So either you want to be in a snake pit or you want to say what you need to say so you can get out of the snake pit. So it's the Graciela sisters. That's not their name. And they go in first. They all get shackled in. They're blindfolded as they're led into this room. They're shackled into the area where the snakes are. And they take off the masks. Renee ends up saying something that she said in there. I can't remember what it is, right? Renee ends up just admitting to whatever it is that she says in there. It was a great first step, and they get released and they go sit down. Then the next couple is brought in, and I believe that's Brandy and her dad. So Brandy and her dad are brought in. Brandy's father says that he's ashamed of Brandy because she was an escort somewhere. She was an escort in New York City. Brandy's like, who? I never said that. And he's like, yes, you did tell me that. Now, what I recall him saying in the Zen room was that the tabloid, he read a tabloid that said that she had done that. So I am not quite sure where the disconnect is coming from or why someone didn't correct it. Oh, I forgot to tell you, there's also another woman who's in the room. She's a TV divorce judge, like Judge Judy, but not Judge Judy. I don't know her name. She's a black lady. And apparently she's been listening in on this whole entire situation. And so she's the one who heard what happened in the Zen room because she got the copies of it, the records of it, to be able to step in and say if somebody was telling the truth or not. And she didn't call BS on Brandy's dad. So I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm always not quite sure. You guys notice that? I don't know why I don't pick up on things. But Brandy's like, I never told you I was an escort. I don't know why you think that I've never escorted in my life. Like, he's just, it seems like it's just like he's disappointed in Brandy for stupid reasons. For being bisexual, for being an escort. Like, for all this stuff that she's not. I mean, she's bisexual, but she's not an escort. And she says to him, I didn't tell you that. I'm not an escort. And he's like, yes, you did. You told me that. She's like, no, I didn't. I'm not an escort. I've never been an escort. I never said that. And he's insisting that she did say it. So at this point, I'm just confused as to why he can't let it go. Why can't he just be like, oh, well, I thought that's what you said to me. Like, why can't he just let it go? Let it go. She's not an escort. Like, she said she wasn't. You say she said she did. And she said, no, I didn't say that. So, like, let it go. But he's still like, you said you were an escort. I'm just like, oh, God. She brought up some things about their childhood and that how he wasn't perfect and how he likes and accepts the other siblings and not her. And it's just like, he's just, I don't know. I don't get it. Oh, I forgot to say this. While Chrissy is in the Zen room booth, she's crying and she admits all the things that she's admitting. Now they're standing outside of the Zen booth and they can see into it. Chrissy can see out, but they can't hear her and she starts to cry. And Mama Jones starts to cry because she's like, crank. She's getting emotional. So there is some love there. Mama Jones does like Chrissy. It isn't an all-out brawl. And from what I see on the show, they're getting along fine. They may have their spats, but they're not at each other's throats, which makes me feel really good. So then the Jones family get in. They do their thing, and as soon as the blindfolds are off and they see the snakes, Mama Jones and Jim Jones both unshackle themselves and jump out and say they're not doing it. They completely take the Chrissy out of the situation. It's so selfish because they don't want to have this process work, and she does. She felt that by the time she took off her blindfold, she didn't even have an opportunity to participate because they had already taken off their shackles from their feet and jumped out of it and like walked away. And then they end up playing a bit of what she said inside of the Zen room out loud so that Jim could hear it, because since he was so opposed to her saying it in the snake pit. And he, you know, shows her some affection and says that he's sorry for denying her the opportunity to heal or have that moment. And I thought it was really sweet. And even later on in the bedroom, like, she's like, it's really hard for me and I want this to work, but you aren't participating. And it's like, why are we here then? Yeah, Amber pops off on Matt. Like, she freaks out. Because he will not admit that he put his hands on her, you know? And he's completely shut down from this whole situation too. It's like, why agree to come on a therapy show if you're not going to take the therapy seriously? So it's like, Jim Jones is not taking it seriously, Matt isn't taking it seriously, and it's just kind of frustrating at this point. So Matt gets in the snake pit. He refuses, he shuts down, he doesn't want to talk about anything, so they let Amber and Amber's mom out of the snake pit. And they leave Matt in there and they unveil the snakes because he's being that way. And so they're in there talking to him and he's kind of scared because this snake is like crawling up his leg, which is not really crawling up his leg, it's just kind of winding around his ankle. You know, he finally admits to something, I guess, that, you know, that he is going to try and work on this issue and that his shutting down was not the way to happen. So they go ahead and let him out. I'm just like, we got to figure out more about him. So the very last scene of this is Amber in the bedroom with Matt, with Mom, yelling because Matt won't acknowledge her. He's just on his phone. He's not paying attention to her. And she's like, you are making up things about me. And he's like, you're lying. I never did that to you. And she's like, you did. Stop trying to make me feel like I'm crazy. I just think she needs to break up with him. Like, beginning and end of it. Break up with him. Like, but she's saying that she really loves him. You know, Renee is trying to counsel her, trying to get her to see the error of her ways, because Renee is like, you know, I think Renee sees a lot of herself in Amber. They're trying to help her out, but Amber is just kind of like, I love him. And I'm just like, when I see people with all the drama in their lives, like, I sometimes get a little jealous because I'm just like, I don't have that kind of drama in my life. Like, I really do avoid those situations. Like, people are like, oh, everyone makes mistakes, everyone finds themselves. Like, no, literally, I avoid those situations. When I see that something is toxic or about to be crazy, I get out of it because I don't have the energy or the patience to give over to myself like that to someone who is only going to be a jerk to me. And I know they're going to be a jerk to me. There's enough people being a jerk to me in my life. I don't need the person who's supposed to love and cherish me and, like, we're supposed to go through life together to do that. Like, why would you want that? I can go to the movies by myself. I don't need you. Stress me out, make me feel stupid, call me names, tell me to shut up, not listen to my point of view. Like, I don't need any of that. But these people will fight for that, and I don't understand why. I need to figure that out. All right, you guys, let me know what you guys think of this show down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. I know I feel a little low energy, like I'm not giving you all the tea like I normally do. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get better. I'm going to take more notes. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the ball rolling right now. The ball is getting rolled right now, you know? All right, you guys, have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.